Why are small tongue movements crucial for clear phonemes? Imagine trying to draw a tiny, precise line with a pencil. Now picture your tongue making tiny, controlled movements inside your mouth to produce speech sounds. These small tongue movements are the secret behind clear, understandable speech. When we speak, our tongue needs to move just the right amount and in exactly the right spot. Even tiny adjustments can change a sound completely. For example, the difference between the sounds s and /sh/ depends on very subtle tongue positioning. If the tongue doesn't move precisely, speech sounds can become unclear or distorted. In speech therapy and communication, these small movements matter a lot. Many speech errors happen because the tongue isn't moving correctly or is too stiff or too floppy. If the tongue tip doesn't lift enough to touch the alveolar ridge, the T or D sounds might come out slurred or incorrect. Similarly, if the back of the tongue doesn't raise toward the soft palate, sounds like K or can be mispronounced. These tiny movements are essential for distinguishing one sound from another. Our tongue is made of many muscles working together in a coordinated way. This coordination allows the tongue to make these small, precise movements needed for speech. When the muscles don't work well together, it can cause articulation errors. That's why speech therapists often focus on exercises that help strengthen these muscles and improve control. For example, they might work on stabilizing the tongue by pressing it against the teeth or palate to help it stay steady during speech. This stabilization helps the tongue move accurately and avoid sloppiness that can lead to speech errors. Many speech sounds differ only by small changes in tongue position. For example, the S sound involves the tongue tip close to the alveolar ridge, while /sh/ requires the tongue to be slightly further back and flatter. Small movements like these are what make speech clear and distinguishable. When these movements are too big or too small, or if the tongue isn't controlled well, speech can become difficult to understand. That's why improving tiny tongue movements is a key part of fixing articulation and phonological issues. In cases of speech sound disorders, the inability to make these precise movements often causes speech to sound unclear or distorted. Children and adults with motor speech disorders may struggle with controlling their tongue's small movements. Speech therapy often includes exercises that help develop better neuromuscular control, making these tiny movements more accurate. Strengthening and practicing these movements can lead to clearer speech and fewer articulation errors. So, small tongue movements are the foundation of clear speech because they allow us to produce the subtle differences between sounds. When these movements are precise and well controlled, speech sounds are crisp and understandable. Without them, speech can become muddled or mispronounced, making communication harder. That's why focusing on these tiny, controlled tongue motions is so important in speech therapy and for anyone working to speak more clearly.